What made the entire bridal party gasp when I walked down the aisle in my perfect dress? So I had this wedding dress that was supposed to be my dream dress. I'd been planning this wedding for 2 years, and my cousin Becca was my maid of honor. She'd been super helpful with everything, always volunteering to handle details and stuff. The dress came from this fancy boutique downtown, and Becca even came with me for the final fitting 3 days before the wedding. The morning of my wedding, I was getting ready in the bridal suite at the venue. My bridesmaids were all there doing their makeup and hair. I was saving my dress for last because I wanted that perfect moment, you know? Becca kept checking her phone and acting kind of weird, but I figured she was just stressed about maid of honor duties. When it was time to put on my dress, Becca insisted on helping me. She unzipped the garment bag and pulled out what looked like my dress. It was the same style, same color, everything seemed right. But when I put it on, something felt off. The fabric felt cheaper, kind of scratchy against my skin. The beading wasn't as heavy as I remembered, but I was so nervous and excited that I convinced myself I was just being paranoid. Becca kept saying how perfect I looked, and how the dress was exactly what we picked out. She even took a bunch of photos of me in it. The other bridesmaids were getting ready in the bathroom, so they didn't really see me up close. I noticed the dress felt a little looser than during my fitting, but again, I thought maybe it was just wedding day nerves making me lose weight. Right before the ceremony, my mom came in to see me. The second she looked at my dress, her face went completely white. She pulled me aside and whispered that something looked different about the beading pattern. I looked in the mirror more carefully, and that's when I saw it. The intricate beadwork that had cost me an extra $800 was completely gone. This dress had basic rhinestones that looked like they came from a craft store. I started panicking. My mom grabbed the original receipt from my purse and compared it to what I was wearing. The dress I had on was definitely not the $1,500 dress I'd bought. It was some cheap knockoff that probably cost $50 online. My hands were shaking as I realized what had happened. We confronted Becca, who immediately started making excuses. She claimed the dry cleaner must have switched the dresses by mistake, but then my mom found the real dress hanging in Becca's car, still in a garment bag with the boutique's name on it. When we demanded an explanation, Becca finally broke down and admitted she'd switched them because she wanted to wear my dress to her own wedding next month. Apparently, she'd been planning this for weeks. She found a similar looking dress online for cheap and was hoping I wouldn't notice on the day of. She figured by the time I realized what happened, her wedding would be over and she'd return my real dress. She even had the nerve to say she deserved to wear it more because her wedding was going to be bigger. I was 15 minutes away from walking down the aisle in a fake dress while my real dress was sitting in my cousin's car. My mom practically dragged Becca out to get my actual dress while I tried not to have a complete meltdown. The guests were already seated, the music was about to start, and I had to change dresses in the parking lot behind a van. When I finally walked down the aisle in my real dress, the bridal party gasped because they could see the difference immediately. The real dress caught the light completely differently, and the beadwork was stunning. But what really made them gasp was when my mom loudly announced to everyone what Becca had tried to pull. She didn't sugarcoat it at all. Becca tried to play it off like it was all a misunderstanding, but my mom had already called her parents. They were mortified and made Becca leave the reception immediately. She tried to take the cheap dress with her, but my mom made her leave it behind as evidence of what she'd done. The crazy part is that Becca's wedding got canceled 2 weeks later because her fiancé found out about the dress incident and decided he couldn't trust her.